Hey everyone, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel, Rogers Reads. Today I am going to be doing the BookBuddyAthon tag. Sorry it took me a few days to get this up. For the BookBuddyAthon, you ask your book buddy 5 questions and they answer them on a tag video. So Ginger was right on the money and got her video up over the weekend, and it took me until today, which is Tuesday. I'm gonna get right into the questions, and then after the questions, I'm going to do a readathon update. Question is, what book do you like that everyone hates? But for this one, I'm going to say Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I know that there's a lot of people that do love it, just like I love it, but I also know that a lot of people don't like it or change their opinions on it after a while or after seeing the movie. I didn't change my mind about it after hearing other people's opinions. I loved the book. The movie was okay, but it took out so much. I feel like changing your opinion of the book based on that movie is it just doesn't make sense because it does come off more kind of shallow in a way because so much was taken out. Ginger's next question for me is, what book do you hate that everyone likes? And for this one, I'm going to say Never Let You Go by Chubby Stevens. Um, I've seen very few negative reviews for this, especially for the reasons that I hate it so much. So if you're curious about this at all, you can check out my April wrap up when I get that posted. But what book world would you like to live in? I really don't know what to say for this because I'm sorry. I don't know how to answer this. Like I could just say Narnia or something because that's like one of the few fantasy type books I've read, but I don't want to live in Narnia. Um, yeah, I I'm sorry. I'm just gonna move on to the next one. What book has made you cry the most? Me Before You by Jojo Moyes again. Yeah, I like wept over the end of that book. What book couldn't you put down? Well, this year so far is definitely The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas and Allegedly by Tiffany Jackson. Both of them, I could barely come up to breathe for both of those books. I read both of them in less than 24 hours. That's it for the questions. Thank you, Ginger, for those questions. That was fun. I'm going to do a little update on what I've read so far this week. Ginger and I read Big Little Lies over the weekend. This was around 480 pages. It was really good. It was a lot more than I was expecting. I know that this has like lots of good reviews and people love it, and of course, the show has been made and that's renewed interest in it. But yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting sort of fluff, but like good fluff, but it's not fluff. And it's more, I don't know if I call it a thriller, but it's more thrillery and suspense than I was expecting. I feel like with this cover, I was expecting more of just like a chick lit type thing. But yeah, it was definitely more hard hitting and impactful than I was expecting. And I definitely recommend it. I believe I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. So I was really glad to read that, and I enjoyed chatting with Ginger about that. Next, I read Moana, and I kind of read this simultaneously with my next book. I started this, then I started the third book, then I finished this, then I finished the third book. But yeah, so this is a graphic novel written and illustrated by Noelle Stevenson, who is one of the writers and illustrators for Lumberjanes, which I've read, I think, 2 volumes of that, and I really enjoy Lumberjanes. This one, not so much. I mean, it wasn't bad. I did finish it, but honestly, I'm not sure I would have bothered to finish it if I hadn't been reading it for a readathon. alright, I gave it 3 stars. I just kind of felt like I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I'm glad I read it because people talk about it. And the last book that I've read so far is The Garden of My Iman by Farhana Zia. So I really enjoyed this. This is sort of like a modern Islamic retelling of um, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which I have not read in a couple decades, but my 11-year-old recently borrowed it from the library, or I recently borrowed that from the library for my daughter. So I might reread it, just I think it'd be fun to compare it. But I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. Um, it was really it was really impactful to me. I feel like I learned from it, and it takes place over approximately the month of Ramadan. It's about a girl named Aaliyah. I'm not sure if it ever tells her age, but I'd say she's around maybe 12 or 13. And it's about her navigating school and American life as a Muslim girl who she's just kind of figuring out what she believes, how she wants to live. One thing I liked about it was the way it kind of portrays a spectrum of Muslim families and kids, and just like there is a spectrum of Christians and beliefs and people that are like hardcore conservative, and people that identify as Christian that are liberal. It's the same thing with Islamic families. There are people that uh, take the take the idea of wearing a head covering figuratively and don't feel they need to wear a literal head covering, and there are people that believe that they do need to wear literal head covering, and there are people that let their children decide for themselves, and there are people that are more forceful about it. And so anyway, I just thought it was really interesting. I thought it kind of highlighted that we're not all that different from each other, really. I definitely recommend it for middle grade kids. I'm 30, almost 38 years old, and I enjoyed it. So, if you like middle grade novels, then I would recommend this. That is it for now. We'll probably do like a end of the week um, wrap up as well of some sort. But anyway, I hope everyone else is having fun with BookBuddyAthon, and I will see you next time.